Gary Vee is, like it or not, changing the industry.
In a world full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, grading, selling, buying, one card game remains supreme. One man has the insights you need to know. Watch and subscribe now. YugiohTube.
What's up, YouTube? YugiohTube here, discussing the recent events of entrepreneur, millionaire Gary Vee. Gary Vaynerchuk, or Vaynerchuk, however you want to pronounce it. Gary Vee, let's talk about him. And let's talk about what's going on, how it affects the card industry, what the future outlook looks like, the potential of the card market, the money flowing into the asset. Trading card market is now an investable asset, rather than just a commodity that folks buy, sell, collect. It's turning into something bigger than that, folks, and we're going to go and just talk about what the effect is going on with Gary Vee and why it is so important and even newsworthy in terms of reporting it here on the video. Now, as you can see, we got some nice cats here in the background watching. I don't know, I'm weird. Nonetheless, who's Gary Vee? Gary Vee is worth about $160 million, Gary Vee. $160 million. This is the guy that started from the bottom up. He is an investor. He's an entrepreneur. He's good with digital marketing. And he seems to get a lot of hits rather than misses, right? And what he's done is built his own brand. This is a guy that has over 2 million Twitter followers, has over 8 million Instagram followers. If you don't know who he is, here he is, Gary Vee. Let's see if we could actually get that on camera. Boom, there it is, Gary Vee, G-A-R-Y-V-E-E. And what he posted last week was this. This is a first edition Mewtwo. First edition Mewtwo PSA 10 Gem Mint. It actually said the best Saturday night activities. What's your favorite card? Blotty, blotty, blotty. So, Gary Vee in the sports card industry like to tweet out his favorite picks in terms of what he buys, you know. He's a big sports fan. He's a collectible. He's a card fan. He likes the fact that, well, cards have a finite supply. You're never going to remake a Jordan rookie. You're never going to remake a Wayne Gretzky, a LeBron James rookie card, right? It's never going to happen. You're not going to see that remade. That's the point of it. It's a rookie card back from 2003 in LeBron's case. Nonetheless, he goes, and he's big into baseball as well, baseball and the NBA. And he says, you know what, Ronald Acuna Jr., there's only X amount of PSA 10s out there. The population percent is this. I like his rookie card in PSA 10 from Topps. I like Devin Booker. I like his rookie card. I like Giannis, however you want to pronounce it. I like his Prism rookie cards, PSA 9, PSA 10. I like Kevin Durant's rookie cards. And what happens here is once he posts this on Twitter, he posts this massive stash of cards. And what happens is people look at this and they say, oh, well, he says this card has good value and potential. And what happens is it affects the market. The same cards, the same Devin Bookers that you could get for, let's say, I don't know, $150, $200, up to about $400 overnight because of what he posted on social media. Do I think this is healthy? Absolutely not. I don't think one person with $160 million in net worth, with tons of followers, millions of followers, posting about his picks and who he likes, affecting the market and affecting the values right after he posted. I do not think that's healthy at all. I think it shouldn't be the case. I don't think one person could sway the market as much as this, but that's what we're seeing right now. But I think the bigger thing in all this, and we look at the big picture, is a few things. The big picture, one, is that cards are now an investment. High-end cards, even some of the mid-tier cards, are turning into investment vehicles for a lot of folks. A lot of folks are getting into the cards, the aspect of, again, the finite supply, the increasing demand, the income of a lot of folks getting into the market, just higher and higher disposable income. And when you look at the Pokemon and the Yu-Gi-Oh card market, again, we're kind of just in the infancy in the fact that a lot of the folks getting into this and reliving that nostalgia factor, they are just getting into the big-time prime of their careers. So we are not yet seeing these massive price hikes yet. Now, we have seen, I mean, it's been unbelievable. We could all agree what we've seen in the card market has been just unprecedented. I never would have expected this. Do I think it's going to fall off? Do I think it has to plateau? It's got to. I mean, everything cannot be a straight line up, right? Whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, sports cards. At the same time, the long-term value, you know, talking 10, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you know, with a dwindling supply and increasing demand, it just seems to be a good bet. And when you have a guy worth $160 million, think about this, folks. A guy with $160 million net worth getting into cards. What happens when there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 40, 50, 100, 1,000 people worth $150,000 or more getting into the card market? All this money being funneled into the card market, it's good and bad, right? We look at this and we say, well, I always wanted to get this card, but I can't get it now because the price has skyrocketed too high. So that kind of stinks. I mean, let's be honest, as a collector myself, that does stink. But at the same time, you're looking at a healthy market in terms of the amount of money, the market cap, the market capacity being put into cards. I mean, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when things get so big and when you have these big-time guys with big-time pockets getting into this stuff, watch out. Watch out, because the cards, you know, have to go up when you got this kind of money going into these kinds of cards. You know, 10 years ago, you'd say $1,000 for a Yu-Gi-Oh card is ludicrous. You'd say $300 for a Yu-Gi-Oh card is ridiculous. Now you say, oh, it's $500, that's it? That's $1,000, that's not too bad. You know, and you look at this progression that we're on, and again, this straight line up is never sustainable, and it won't be, but the long-term growth should be there. My point is, guys like Gary Vee, a lot of people love him, a lot of people hate him. But at the end of the day, what we can all conclude is he is single-handedly, well, I guess more than single-handedly, he's moving the market, he's generating buzz about the market, he's getting more people interested in the market. The people that buy right after Gary Vee posts are a bunch of sheep. You know, let's go and buy after someone just posted on their social media page and, you know, the prices are double what they were last night. A bunch of clowns. Just don't understand that. And for Gary Vee, it's a great way to say, I just made double my investment overnight. All I have to do is buy 100 of the same guy, 100 cards of the same person, and say, hey, this guy looks good, there's potential here, and tomorrow my investment is worth double. And it's just an unbelievable way for him to increase his asset pool. Good for him, right? But for the sheep, it's because of the sheep buying the crap. But at the end of the day, going back, Gary Vee is, like it or not, changing the industry. Unfortunately, if we like it, if we don't like it, it is what it is. You know, we can't control how the market works. The market is the free market. But it is what it is, right? So there are going to be cards that people no longer can afford because of these spikes, but at the same time, their asset pool and their cards are worth a lot more than they were too. Nobody wants to buy a box of cards and say, hey, I spent $100 on the box, I got $5 back, you know, or I buy a $100 box and in 2 years it's worthless. The cards are worthless. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants that. Let's be honest with ourselves. But at the same time, you know, we have to look at each other and say that this is the reality now. The reality here is this is turning into comic books, right? Comic books, millions of dollars, multi-million-dollar comic books. Yes, they're much older, you know. Yes, the supply was much shorter. But we're seeing that parallel now. You know, a lot of folks say, why are you buying a frickin' piece of cardboard for this much money? Well, why are people buying comic books for millions? You know? It's the same kind of premise. And we have to understand that. And Gary Vee could just be the beginning of it all, which is the scary part of this. The scary part is Gary Vee is just one guy. You know, and you talk about hundreds of people with this kind of money getting into it. And the market will be totally different. And I'm curious to see in 10 years how the market looks. Be a fun ride, that's for sure. Hope you enjoyed. What do you think of Gary Vee? Do you love him? Do you despise him? What do you think? Have you never heard of this guy before this video? Alright, until next time, YugiohTube. Comment below. I'm curious to hear. Signing out.